Now for the last part of this section, I want to talk about how you can use the power rule to solve any formula that you have for a given specified variable. Now in this example, you can see that you have a radical term on the right hand side, and your formula is v equals square root of 2k over m, and we want to solve this equation for m, so which means that you want to get m by itself and move everything else over to the other side. So the first thing you will start by doing is applying the power rule. You can see that your radical term is on one side, so start by using the power rule, and that will give us, since it's a square root, you will go ahead and square both sides of your equation, and you will end up with v square equals, again, 2 will cancel out the square root, the square cancels out the square root, and you're left with 2k over m. Now since we want to get m by itself, that basically means we need to move everything else over to one side and m on one side. For this example, what we're going to start by doing is actually multiply m on both sides of your equation. Okay, so you get rid of m on this side and move it to the other, and you end up with m v square equals 2k. Okay, now we want m by itself, so we'll go ahead and divide by v square on both sides so that we can cancel out the v's, and you're left with m equals 2k over v square. Okay, and that is what we wanted to do. We wanted to solve for m, so we got m on one side and everything else on the other. And you can see that when we solved for m, we actually got rid of the radical sign, and we ended up with v being a squared term. Okay, so that's all you really have to do here. Let's look at one more example, just to be sure we know what we're doing. And I'm using the same formula again, but this time we're solving for k instead of m. So again, you start out by doing just like we did earlier. Start with the power rule. And so that will give us v equals, okay, since it's a square root, again you square both sides of your equation, and you end up with v square equals, square cancels out the square root, so again this time you're left with 2k over m. Everything similar to what we did the first time, but this time we are solving for k, so you want to get k by itself and move the 2 and the m over to the other side. So again, we start by multiplying m on both sides. You're left with 2k m times v square, but this time we are solving for k, so you're not going to move the v square this time. We want to get k by itself, so since we want k by itself, we will go ahead and divide 2 on both sides and get rid of 2 on the right hand side, and you end up with k equals m v square over 2. Okay, so again, in this example, you will notice that we got rid of the radical sign, and you still have a square on the v, but now this guy looks much different from this one here. Here you have m equals 2k over v square, and in this one you have k equals mv square over 2. So you can see the difference between these two applications here. Okay, and that should give you a good idea of how to use the power rule to solve any formula for a specified variable. And this will be the end of section 10.6.